Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Marketing Coffee House and this week's edition of the Marketing Coffee Chat. So I'm going to give folks just a couple minutes to join in. I'll be keeping an eye on the comments, as always. So if you have any comments during the presentation, which is going to be pretty short, feel free to throw them in there. Hello, Melody. Nice to see you. So quick on the format is basically that I'm going to talk a little bit about the topic, and we can have some interaction with people asking questions or throwing in your 2 cents. I don't have any problem with that. So let's go ahead and get started. So today's topic is how to work with a lead capture form. So in the last few weeks, we've talked about social media marketing. We talked a little bit about email marketing. And part of the email marketing is capturing leads. So I thought it might be a good time to go over a little bit about lead capture. And I do have a blog article that I will paste into the comments whenever I'm done so that you can refer back to that. And you don't need to worry about taking notes or anything like that during the chat, because I like to just keep it, kind of casual, which is why I'm dressed like I am. But I don't have coffee today. Right now, I'm on the water phase of my day. We'll go back into coffee later. But anyway, all right. So a couple things about lead capture form. So and I'll be looking over at my notes if you see me looking off to the side. So the first thing is, where do you create a lead capture form? Where do you do that? And you do that generally in an email marketing program. No coffee right now, Tim. I got to take a break once in a while. So you're generally going to do your lead capture form in your email marketing program, or otherwise known as autoresponder. We talked about that last week. There's a couple places that I've found that you can create forms, and there's really a ton of places. But I use SendPulse for my email marketing. You can get a free SendPulse account for up to 2,500 up to 2,500 list members. And so I think it's a really good place, and you can create nice capture forms in there. And then what you do, so that's one place. The other place is HubSpot. You can get a free account there, and there are a ton of other ones. So anyway, so you go into your email marketing program, you create a list, which we talked about last week, and then you create a lead capture form that leads to that list. So like I said, if you want to check last week's video, I believe it was last week, about the email list building challenge. We talked about that, or maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago. You can look at that, and we talk all about email marketing and getting started with email marketing. So I'm not going to get into all of that right now. I'm just talking about lead capture forms right now. So welcome to anybody that just joined us. So we're talking about lead capture forms, and the first thing was, where do you create it? Well, you create it in your email marketing program. The second thing is the appearance of your lead capture form. So, the first thing is the general appearance. First of all, you want to make sure that it's nice and neat and clean. You don't want a lead capture form that has too much wording on it, that things are certainly spelled incorrectly, that just has and you also don't want a form. Well, we're going to talk about form fields in a second. So you want something that's going to be nice and neat and clean in terms of your general appearance. And you need a good attention-grabbing headline to make people actually stop for a second to look at it to decide whether or not they want to fill out your form. I'm just looking at my blog article. Be careful to make sure the headline is relevant to what you're asking for. So, for example, if the form says, sign up and get a shortcut for free, you don't want to have them sign up and get something different. So, make sure that it's pertinent in your headline. Now, the form fields. The form fields, generally you're going to want to go with name and email address at a minimum. This is the information that you're requesting from people. It does depend a little bit where you're going to put your lead capture form as to how much you're going to ask and what the intention is. There are cases where you might want to get some additional pieces of data, but at a minimum, you're going to want to have a name and email address. So I'm not going to read all this. You guys can read that and see if I have anything else that might be pertinent there. So that's your form fields. Any other text that you're going to put on your lead capture form. So this is getting to be a little bit more of a big deal, are things like privacy, that type of text. You may want to put a link to your privacy notice if you have one. If not, you definitely might want to put some text below the button that says, I value your privacy. I'm not going to sell or use your email address for any other purpose. Something like that to gain a little bit of trust up front so that people know that, this is legitimate. So you might want to have some additional text like that on your form. And then the button. So this is a big deal. A lot of buttons by default say submit, and there's been some studies that show that people are less likely to click a button like that than one that might just say click here or next or get XYZ, whatever it is that you're asking to fill the form out for. So give some thought to your button and don't just use submit. Now, I ran into a little problem because after writing this article, I knew that I had that in there about don't use submit, and then I started using submit thinking that I was saying do use submit. So anyway, be careful with your button. You don't really want to use the word submit. Do not use submit. End of that story. All right, so the last thing about your lead capture form would be using gifts or freebies. So a lot of times you want to offer a free gift, like a PDF or an article that you've written or something like that, in order to get people to fill out your form. Because a lot of times people just they want to feel like they're getting something when they fill out a form. So as an example, if my list is asking people to subscribe to my social media marketing list, I may give them a copy of my Twitter PDF or my social media PDF in exchange for them giving me their information and filling out my form. So freebies are not totally easy to come by. I've created some of my own. And the nice thing, maybe I'll have to do another one on freebies. The nice thing about my freebies is I have a lot of links to some of the affiliate stuff that I do within those. So, it's kind of also marketing, even though I'm giving it away for free. So, so we got freebies. Where do you place this form? Generally, it's going to go on your website or blog on the sidebar. You could also use a pop-up on your website or blog, and you could use it just on a standalone lead capture page, so that you could, kind of use that on social media and not, only have it limited to, what might show up on your blog and visitors that you might get to your blog. So, so there are different places that you could put it. And then, of course, once you get the leads, they go into your email marketing program and you start marketing. So, and that's based on what we talked about last week. So I'm going to do just a quick summary because I saw that some people popped on a little bit late. And I see Josie and Vesna and James. Welcome, guys. So let me do a quick summary, and I'll give you guys a chance to enter any comments or questions that you might have. and then we'll wrap it up. So we were talking about lead capture forms, where to create them. So generally you would create those within your email marketing program. I threw out, that I use SendPulse. I really like that. The forms are very nice and attractive. So, but you can use whatever email marketing program you would use. The general appearance of your form should be neat and clean. We talked about the fields that you should use. You don't want to ask for too much information or people aren't going to fill it out. But at a minimum, you should get their name and email address. Any other text related to privacy, if you're marketing in Europe, they have this GDPR regulations. So a lot of people are putting that on their forms. We talked about what your button should look like, and do not use the word submit on your button. And then we talked about using freebies. So that would be like a PDF or something that would be informational and valuable, to get somebody to fill out the form. And then where to place the form was the last thing that we were just talking about. So Tim has a question, thoughts on pop-unders or exit forms. The pop-unders, I'm going to just be honest, I don't really understand those all that well. I like the exit intent forms. So it just all depends on what email service you're using and where you might have your blog or your website. What an exit form is, for anybody that doesn't know, is basically it's designed that if somebody's clicking around on your website and they leave, the mouse leaves the website as if they're going to, exit your website, then the form pops up. I really like those. I've used them in the past. I don't think I have one on my blog right now, but they're really nice. So anyway, so I don't see. Oh wait, maybe I do because I got to scroll down. Hold on a second. So Roulette, hello. Kedrick, welcome. Wow, I haven't heard from you in a long time, buddy. So hey guys, so for the couple of you that just hopped on, we were talking about lead capture forms. I'm not going to go back through it because we're just wrapping up. But you can ask any questions that you want in the chat, and I'll be checking back on that. Next week up until the next one. This video will be on the wall. I'll also post it under the announcements in the Marketing Coffee House. And as soon as I'm done and the live video, I'm going to put a link to my blog article about lead capture pages, which is what I was using for today's live. So thank you guys so much for being here. Keep the conversation going, and I will see you all next Friday at noon.